So hello guys. So welcome to Tech Cat Evolution, and today haven't watched the day one all the basics tutorials of what are the user interface, what are the palettes, what are the viewers, components, screens, how to add a screen, what are the blocks, designer. If you don't know this, then just watch my previous video. That is a day one of MIT App Inventor. You will get all this. And if you want to go for, if you have watched it, then please stay tuned because today we're gonna have making three apps. One is Ohm's law, one is your login system, and another is a to-do app. So these are the three apps that we're gonna work on today, and hopefully we'll complete all the three on time. So let's start with today's session. And you can see as I have just started up with a screen right over here. The name of the application is right over here, that is Ohm's Law app. And I have done this, I have created over here, start a new project. And then I have created the project name as Ohm's Law app, and all I have done nothing else. So you can see that all the screen is blank, and now we'll just start up making an app which will calculate Ohm's law, that is V equals to I into R. Okay, so let me first of all put a layout, and you know what is this layout is. I will take an horizontal arrangement layout, and then I will just put on the label where I will write it on, like I will just come to the properties section and I will make some changes in the text label, and I will make some changes like uh, Ohm's law, Ohm's law, that is V equals to I into R, the calculation of this. So I've written this label, and the label is named something like this. I can change the background color over here. I can change everything right over here, but I don't want to do this. What I want to do is I want to make it center. So to make it center, first of all, I need to make the horizontal arrangement to the fit parent width over here, fill the parent. So I will just make the width of the horizontal arrangement right over here to fill parent. And once we judge over here, you can see that the arrangement width is right in the parent cell right over here. Now we want the content of this label to be at the center. So what we're going to do, we're going to just fill the width of the label again to fill parent, and it is also in the parent now. Okay, now what happened? The label context is equal to the horizontal arrangement context, and now what we'll do, we'll make the text to center. So there will be an alignment, a text alignment, and we're going to make it to center, and now we will have it as the center of the thing. So this is how we can make a center. If you don't remember, I will repeat again. First, we need to make the width to the fill parent, and then we need to make the label width to the fill parent, and at last, we're going to make the text alignment to the center. If you are doing these three steps, then we'll get the data at the center of the entire screen. Okay, so now what we will do, we will just increase a little size of it. Maybe we can have it as 24. If you're making it 24, it's looking a good, little much good than the previous one. So it's looking like a headache. Now we want some data to be there, like voltage and some acceptance of the voltage data, uh, current and the acceptance of current data, and resistance and acceptance of resistance data. So for that, we need a layout. So there are many layouts that we can use. We can use horizontal, we can use vertical, but I want to use tab table, which will look much more prettier than other layouts. And what we require is something like label and a text box for entering the text. So this is the orientation of what we require. So again, a text box right over here and a label right over here. First is for voltage, second is for current, and the last is for resistance. But if we take one more thing, then it is not allowing us to enter into it. This is because when we go to the table arrangement, over here the columns are fixed to 2, but the rows are also fixed to 2. So we're going to change the row to 3. And if we are making 3, then we are getting an extra row over here. And when we are getting an extra row, then we will just put on the label, drag it on, place it over here, and put on the text box, drag it on and place it over here. That's it. Now we will just name these all elements. So we'll select this either from here or you can directly select from here. It's according to your choice. And we'll rename this as voltage. And similarly, we'll rename the text box. We cannot name text box right away here. We'll rename this label 3 as current. And we're going to rename this label 4 as resistance. Okay, so these are the three things that we have done: voltage, current, resistance, all set. And now one more thing that we can do, see, this is the front end part, right? So we are getting this voltage, sorry, we are getting this voltage, current, resistance right over here, and we could see that which column sends which box is for voltage, which box is for column current, which box is for resistance. But when we come to the backend part, then these components are visible to us. So over here, if we name like this text box 1, text box 2, label 3, label 4, then they may be confused that which is for what. Okay, are you getting my point? So for this reason, what we can do, we can rename these text boxes and labels. Like we don't want this label, means we don't want to consider this label right away here. So what we can do, we can change the only the text box values. Like we can click on this and rename it like voltage underscore text. This denotes that it is a text box for voltage. Now this is current, so we can write it down like current underscore text. It's my format of writing. You can use your format of writing. Now this is the resistance, and we can write it down like resistance underscore text. Now I won't use capitals over here, so I will remove the capital R. You can use capital. There is no hard and first rule to not to use capital, but it's my choice. Okay, so we are clear till over here that why we have named this as differently, right? So if we have done this till here, now what we're gonna do, we can move to the backend part. But before going to the backend part, what happens when someone presses and writes something over here and writes something over here? It should calculate, right? So we must have a calculate button over here. So let us bring a calculate button. We are bringing this button over here and we are done, and we'll rename this. Let me rename the backend part as calculate. We have renamed the backend part, but the property is not changed by the component name. So we're going to change the property text and we're going to make it as calculate. So here we had the button right over here and we are all set to calculate. Okay. So what we're going to do, we're going to just go to the blocks and we are all empty. Now this is where we're going to design all the backend part. So first of all thing that we're going to do is to come and get what is the first option to calculate. So coming to the design part, when we click calculate over here, right over here, when we are clicking calculate, then only these all options are should use to and calculate the things. Like when we press have the option like we have voltage and current and we are pressing calculate, then it should give resistance. So all things happen once the calculate is pressed. So first option that we need to take over here is calculate. We're going to click on calculate and we're going to take this when calculate is clicked. So we're going to do things only when calculate is clicked. So what thing we require to do first when calculate is clicked? We require to check if means what values are we getting, like if we are getting the voltage or current, or we are getting the current or resistance, or we are getting the resistance or voltage, what value actually we are getting. So for this, what we need to do, we need to just get an if statement, if else statement. So coming to the control over here, we'll grab this if. Okay, you can grab this too, if, elif, then, but I will grab this, and then according to my choice, I will increase the if or else if blocks. Okay. So what I want to check? I want to check that if, let me come to the designer part. I want to check that if voltage is not empty, current is not empty, and resistance is empty. One condition. Okay, second condition. Current is not empty, resistance is not empty, voltage is empty. Second condition. Third condition. Current is empty, resistance is not empty, and voltage is not empty. Then this is the third condition. Now, why we are having one empty and other two non-empty? Because we're going to calculate the both non-empty criterias with, and we're going to give the data to the empty criteria. This will be our task in this Ohm's law, and this is a very simple task, but the application makes you a lot of difference. Okay. So coming to the block again. So we're gonna have the logic now. Now what we want to have the logic, like we wanna have a multiple of statements, right? So we're gonna check with and, because we want all the statements should be correct. Okay. Now what we require in and, we require this text, voltage text. Okay. So we're gonna take one of this, coming over here, fixing and changing it to the text. Now, what does it mean? That we are taking the text box of the voltage and we are checking if the text is there or not. So we'll just assign it over here. Okay, sorry, I made a mistake. This is an and, but we require an equals to. So we'll come to the logic, we come over here and drag equal to, and we'll just take this voltage text is not equals to, maybe we are calculating with not equals to or equals to, it's upon your choice. So if we are checking that voltage is not empty, okay, so not equals to text, we're going to come to the text and we're going to select the blank text over here. So it gives that if voltage is not equals to blank, and we're going to take this over here. So what it is giving, that if voltage text is not equals to blank, and what we can do, again we want the current text. So we're going to take one current text, same we're going to take one equals to, we're going to bring this current over here, we're going to change this background color to text property, and now we're going to check blank, not equals to blank. Excuse me. So if we can see if current text is also not equals to blank, okay, this is our second property that we're going to check right over here. If voltage text is not equal to blank, if current text is not equal to blank. Now, if we put over here, then it's fine. But what about our next condition? Because we have three conditions: voltage, current, and resistance. Now, resistance we need to check equal to blank. If this condition is true, then only it will go inside. Now, there is no block over here. So for this reason, what we can do, we can take another AND block and keep it right over here. Okay, we can take another AND block and keep it right over here. Then what happens? We will get another AND over here, and now we will just pour this part right over here. So what it happens? Now it is giving us the data, like if voltage equals to not equals to text, text is equals to blank, not equals to blank. If current text is not equals to blank, and again we'll come to the resistance. We're gonna click on the resistance. We're gonna come to this part. We're gonna come again to the logic. We're gonna take the equals to, put it over here, change the property to text, but this time we'll check equals to. So we'll just put on equal over here and go to the blank. Okay. So what we can say, that if resistance equals to blank, that means we want something to be calculated and given the output on the resistor resistance text box. Okay, so we're gonna push it on over here. I will just reduce the size a little and push it on right over here. So this is well and good. This is set fit to the screen. Now when this condition is true, then we need to calculate something for the resistance, right? To calculate something, we need to, so what we need to do, we can create a function. Now I told you in the previous class that procedures. So these procedures are nothing but a function. So we are just making the result, that is a procedure, and we are making the function like this function is resistance. Calculate, that is cal underscore resistance. This is the name of the function. Okay. Now inside this function, what is the actual calculation of the function is to accept two values that is sent by this particular if block. Okay, it will accept two values. So for accepting two values, I will just press on this setting part, and I will just put one input, and I will just put another input. Now I will just name this input as voltage, and I will name this input as current. So it will input two values, voltage and current value, and whatever it will do, it will calculate those values. Now if we have the voltage, if we have the current, so as per the over here, you can see we have the voltage, if you have the current, then for calculation of resistance, we need to divide the voltage by current. Okay, so we're gonna go to the math over here, and we'll take on this division. We're gonna plug in over here, and we're gonna come to the variables. We're gonna come to the get right over here, and we'll select voltage, and we're gonna again duplicate it. Now for duplicating it, you can just select this, press right click, duplicate, and the second option is copy it and paste it, control C, control V. Excuse me. So now this is all set. So what we are getting the result as a value, which will be returning this value, the final result, which will return back to the if block. So now our next thing is that we need to call this function right in the if block. Okay, so what we can do, we can take this and call this function. Now you can see over here, now this cannot be directly set over here. There is nothing to set. Now actually what we need to do, we need to set the text box of the resistance. This resistance value is empty, resistance text box is empty. We need to set over here the value. So for that, we come to the block and come to the resistance text, and over here we'll have a set property. Okay, we'll just fix this with a text. Properties text, we're gonna set the property, we're gonna fix this. Now set resistance text property to what? I will call this function, and the value returned by this function is the value. Now I need to send the voltage and current values from here, because it will not take the voltage and current values. So for sending it, I need to take this voltage value right from here, and I will change it to the text, because whatever text there is in the voltage, I will just send it to the voltage. And similarly for the current, I will just take any one of it and change it to the text. Excuse me. So this is done. So I just send all the voltage and current values, and we are getting these values right over here. And when and we will set over here. Same thing we need to do for all the three options. Like we need to put an else if block. But before doing this, before going for the further, I will just check if till over here if our project is working right. So for checking it, what we need to do, we need to connect it. Now connecting has three options. Okay, connecting over here three options. Now I will reset the connections. Now you will find that there's three options. AI companion. This is something that I have yesterday. I've shown you through the mobile phone. You will need to download an app, MIT AI tool, inventor tool, and from there you need to just log in, and with a QR code, you need to scan the QR code, and you will be just accessing the thing. But if you want to access this directly on the laptop, then you have the emulator. Now, when you click the emulator, if the emulator is there in your system, AI starter pack, it is known as. So if it is there installed in the system, it will directly switch on the emulator. If it is not there, then it will ask you to download it. So once you download it, it will just again you need to put on the procedures and it will just do something like this. Now you can see the emulator is switching on. But remember, once you switch on an emulator, then you need not just put it back again, switch off, switch on, switch off, switch on. This is not required. Once it is on, whatever changes you make in the real time, you can just access those changes on this emulator real time. So we need to wait a little seconds, maybe 1 minute or 2 minutes to get the emulator started. I already started the emulator to remove this gap, but it's more important to show you how these things work. So it's better that we go with the procedures. So here you can see all the things are getting started, and we will be just setting up this application right over here automatically. Okay, so we got this application right over here, and now it will show us the screens also, and now it's there. So you can see I will just clicking this application right over here. Now we will have, see, you can see hint for text box. Okay, now we can change this hint like we have this voltage text property right over here. Over here you will find an hint. Now I'm changing the hint to like voltage value. Okay, maybe it is as voltage value. Now this current text has current value. I'm doing it in real time. Okay, now you will find that whatever changes I made right over here, and it will be getting changed right over there. So I'm making it resistance value to the resistance text. And now when I switch on back to over here, so you can see we have got voltage value, current value, resistance value. Now if we what we have designed in the blocks is that voltage is not empty and current is not empty. That means we need to put some values over here like 20. If we want to put 20 right over here, 20 is the voltage, current maybe 2 ampere. So I'm just writing 2 and this is 10 and I will just press calculate. Okay, so I'm getting the resistance as 1. So I believe this is not the correct answer. Okay. Here we made a mistake. We haven't changed this to current. We need to change V by I. So we need to change it to current. And now if we remove this, if you don't remove this resistance blank, it will throw you an error, means it will not show you anything. So if you calculate it, now we are getting the exact value. Okay, but we will not get any value, if we are removing this. So we'll not get any value if we are changing this, if we are keeping the voltage blank and putting the something on the current, something value on the resistor, and then we are just calculating it, then it will not give an error because we haven't designed the backend. So now let us design the backend. So for designing the rest of it, we'll just add an elif statement right after this. And for going to the next part, we'll just copy this, duplicate this, and paste it right in the elif. And now we're gonna make that maybe voltage equals to blank and resistance is not equals to blank. Then again, we'll just copy this, duplicate this, and paste it in the then block. Okay, and we're gonna make this to not call resistance. We're gonna duplicate this and make it to call cal voltage. Cal voltage, and we're gonna change this name to resistance. First value is resistance. Okay. And the second value is current. Okay, so these two are there. So we are getting the resistance and current. Now this won't be division over here, rather we want to get some other thing like I into R is voltage, so we're gonna make to multiplication. So we'll just drag the multiplication right over here, and we're going to switch this to R into I, or I into R, whatever you want to do, and I will delete this. So this is set. Now I will just switch this to voltage. So when I'm switching this to voltage, now it is giving us that the first is resistance and second is the current. So I need to put this to resistance text and put this to current text, and this is done. So, and I'm setting this to voltage text. So I'm just setting this to voltage text. All set. So whatever I'm doing, if the voltage is blank and other two are not blank, then I'm setting the voltage blank text box to the value that is written by the calculate voltage. So I'm sending two values, resistance value and current value, and over here call cal voltage. I'm just calculating both the values and over here by multiplying both the values. That's it. So let us check if now we are keeping this voltage blank and current and resistance, and we're calculating, and it's giving us the value in the voltage. Now the third step that we need to do is to again put an else block or elif, whatever you want to put on else block, and over here, but I need to put an elif block, not else block. So I will just change this, and I will just put an elif block. Yeah, this is good. Now again, I will duplicate this, paste it over here. Now only one condition is left. I need to have the there will be voltage value and resistance value, but the current should be blank. So current should equals to blank. Now I will just reducing the size a little more so that I could accommodate each and everything. I'm just shifting these things to right over here so that it is visible to you properly with each and every step. Okay, so I made this. Now I will just duplicate this part and make another block, and this block will denote cal resistance. Sorry, not resistance. It will denote cal current. So I'm just making this to current. Okay, and this will be resistance, and this will be voltage. Okay, these all are getting changed. Now we have got get resistance, get voltage. Similarly, we'll just duplicate this part, and we're gonna substitute over here. We're gonna change the current text because there is current is empty. So whichever is empty, we're gonna change the text over there. Now we're gonna call the current calculation and resistance over here. So we're gonna change to resistance text, and voltage over here we're gonna change to voltage text. So all set, and now we'll get it for all the formats. Okay, so if we don't have if the current is blank, and if you're pressing calculate, then we will get the current value right over here. I believe we are not getting the exact value here, right? This is because coming to there, if you're calculating current, then we need to divide by the voltage by the resistance. So we will just change this. We'll just duplicate this part and come over. I'm sorry. Come over here, and we'll change the voltage divided by resistance. And this is all set. I will just delete this. Yeah. So now if we just go again back over here and we just press calculate, I believe this will work fine, and we are getting 10. So you can see that we're getting the data. Now to increase the acceptance level of this app, what you can do, see what we are doing, that for removing making the blank value, we are just removing it step by step. If you want to make all the blanks, we're going to remove one by one. So what we can do, we can switch a clear data button over here. We can make a clear button, and when we click that button, then all the values, text values, should be blank. Okay, so for that, what we need to do, we need to go to the designer, create a button. So if I'm creating a button, I cannot put it aside because I don't have a layout. So I'm just putting an horizontal arrangement layout right over here. The first is calculate, and the second is button. And what I need to do, I need to change the text as clear all. So this is what I have made, and I will just change this name over here, backend name. This I will write clear. That's it. So I made this backend name, and now what I'm going to do, when this button is pressed, clear, I will just come to the clear. When this button is clicked, so I'm going to set all the text values to the blank. So coming to the set property of voltage text, now changing the property to text, setting over here, and coming to the text and setting this blank. Set all text to be blank. Now I will just duplicate this and keep it over here and change the current to blank, and duplicate it and keep it over here and change the resistance to blank. Now if I come to back over here, then let's see, let it get loaded. We are not able to see any of the data. We are able to see two buttons, but we are not able to see data. Okay, now we are got. So it's taking a little loading time. So now if we have some data like 20 over here, then we have some data like 32 over here, and we want to calculate the resistance. So let us calculate the resistance. Okay, now if you press clear all, then all the values are cleared. So it becomes more compatible. And if you want to make the APK over here, then you're going to come over here, build your APK. Once you build it, you can use it directly as an app on your system. So this is how we have completed designing Ohm's law application. So I hope you got to know how to design this Ohm's law application, and it's too simple if you get it properly. It's damn simple. Now, if we move forward for designing the login system application. Now, we want to design the login system application. So first of all, we're going to create a new app. So we'll start new project, and over here we're gonna create a new project like a login app. Now we cannot use the spaces, so we'll just put on like this, login app. And now our new system has been over here. Now this is all about the login system. So for coming into this system, what we need to have, we need to design a login system where a user will just enter username and password and could log into the system. For example, this apps could be used like you have 2 to 3 fixed users who can use this app, and you fix those data in the backend that these users can use these all sections. So when this user comes, he can use this section. When this user comes, it can use this section. So this is the way how you can do n number of things using user ID, login, and password. Okay. So now you can also have a tiny database over here. I told you in the previous session that we're going to use this tiny DB1 DB over here. So we're going to use this tiny DB right over here, and we'll utilize this versions. So now let us do one by one. We'll go a little slower, but yes, we're going to go a little faster. So coming to the layout, coming to the table arrangement. Okay, before going to the table arrangement, we're going to have an horizontal arrangement. So in that horizontal arrangement, what we can have a label. Now we can fit the parent with as fill parent, as we have done in the previous. Fit the label with as fill parent. This also we have done, and make the text align to the center. Now the text is center, and we're going to change the text name like login system. Okay, login system, we have made this. Now we can change the size to 24 or any other size, whatever you want. I like this 24 size, so I'm making this 24, and that's it. So now our next step is to just we want a label for username and password. Okay, text box for password. So we have a password text box right over here, and normal username text box right over here. But we require labels, so we're gonna have one label and this label is for username, and the normal text box for username, and again a label for password, and we're gonna have a normal text, a password text box over here. So this is the password text box. Now, if you want to see the properties, you can see the properties right over here, whatever things you're gonna have. Like if you wanna give some hint, you can put on some hint as per your choice. Like enter enter numbers. For example, the password will only accept numbers. If you are giving a hint, enter numbers, or putting a hint like father's name. So these all could be hint, whatever hint you want to give. Now, changing the text of the labels. Now over here, what we're gonna have, will write username. Okay, we're gonna write over here username. Now next we're gonna have right over here password. Username is there, password is there, and now all done. Now there is, you can make another system like a checkbox system. Means what you can do, like if someone checks the checkbox that for remember me checkbox. If it is checking the checkbox, then you're gonna remember the user ID login system again and again. So we'll not go directly to that. Beforehand, we'll just use this normal username and password and go to the things. Okay. So now we're gonna have a button right over here, which will show you the login. So we're gonna make this text to the login. Okay. Now we will need to change the names over here. So rename username, spelling is all right, and password you can rename to password also, or you can keep it as it is because it is showing exactly the same. I'm just writing it the password. Okay, so I'm getting the username, I'm getting the password, and now when login is clicked, then my entire process is going on. So I will come to the blocks, and I will go to the login first. Login. Okay, I need to change the button name, because if I don't change the name, I may get confused. So I'm changing the button name to login. Okay, this I changed it, and I will change the password because I don't want anything to be written in the capital. I want everything to be small. Okay, so now this is password, this is username, and this is login. So when login button is pressed, I'm just go to the login. When this button is pressed, then we're gonna do one thing, that we're gonna check. What we're gonna check, if username and password both matches to the exist, means what username and password we have decided. For example, we are deciding that only username user and password 12356 will be given access. Okay, so we will come over here. We're gonna write go to the log control statement, come to the if block, and then after coming to the if block, what we can do, we can come over here, go to the logic, and we will check. So what we'll check, we require and that if password and user both are correct or not. Now for getting the user, we're gonna come to the username, and we're gonna get the username text value. So we're gonna change the property text, and similarly come to the password, we want the password text value. Now where to get it? Okay, you need to check something, that this is equals to something. So for checking these equals to, we're gonna again come to the logic and make this equals to similar to the previous Ohm's law type. So we're gonna make this equals to, okay, equals to what? Now I'm going to text. I'm gonna take this blank text and I will write the equal. Like if I'm gonna have user, I'm writing user over here. So if username text is equals to user, and I will just duplicate this and I will change this to, I will remove this, delete this, and change this to password. And password is 123456. Okay. So what I have done that if username text is equals to user and password text is equals to this, then I need to do something. So I will just place the username over here and password over here. If these two are valid, then I need to enter enter into the logic, and I need to what the next thing I need to do is to shift to screen 2. And now maybe I need to add a screen, because after login I need to make another screen. So let I make this as home screen, home. So I made another screen right over here, home. Now I will switch back to the screen 1 and go back to the blocks. And then what I need to do, I need to switch to the home screen. So I will go to over here. Okay, we need to get where we are getting this screen. We need to search for some property like open screen. I don't remember where we had that property. So we need to search for a property like open screen. Okay, we got it. Now over here in the control, we had this open another screen, and then we have the screen name. Now over here, the screen name is home. So we're gonna come to the text. We're gonna code the this home, and we're gonna write home. That's it. So if this username and password is correct, it will switch to the screen home. So let us test our code if this is correct and if it is working. So we'll just connect it, and it is already connected. You can see that it's giving us the refresh. I'm just refreshing the companion, and it's something over here. So let it get refreshed. So over here, you can find that here it's giving us the username. So I will write the username as user and password as 123456. And I will just log in. When I logged in, I have just got to the next screen. You can see we have got to the home screen. You can see the home over here. Okay, we are getting the home screen. Okay, again I will move to the screen 1 and I will refresh this. Refresh this. Okay, once we have refreshed, now you will find that we are getting screen 1. And now if we want to use any other than this, like we are using any other thing other than this ID password, any other thing, then it will not allow us to switch to the screen 2, because it is not allowing, as our logic is not allowing it. Okay, so once this is done, so you understood. Now whatever we make to the screen 2, it will just go on doing this screen 2 one again and again. Now coming to the check, means if you are remembering the password, means whenever someone enters again, closes the app and again enters it, if he has checked it to the remember password, the username and password will be showing it back on the screen. So this is what it is there. So for that, what we can do, see now the live test of this will only be applicable when you build the application and test it on your phone. So live testing we won't do it, but we will do the test. We'll do the virtual testing right over here, and we'll do the programming. Okay. So now what we need to do, we need to come to the designing part, and we need to put a checkbox. So let me come to the checkbox, and I'm just putting the checkbox over here. Now name of the checkbox is like remember me. Okay, so when this is pressed, then it should remember it. So this is what it is all about. So I'm just making renaming this checkbox as remember underscore me. Okay, this is done. Remember me. And now coming to the blocks. Now again we need to check something over here. After this, we need to check something. So what we can do, we can go to the control, put another if block right over here. Okay. If check is true, then we need to do something, or else we need to do something else. Okay. But the final thing that we need to do, we need to open the home screen. If this is true, then the final thing is that we need to open the home screen. But according to the checkbox, we need to see that either we need to store the password and username to the database or not. Okay. Now we'll just go to the checkbox. Let me see, where is checkbox? Okay, remember me. Now we'll just click it and we'll just bring remember me right over here. Now we're going to check it through equals to. So we'll come to the equal to, we'll bring it. Remember me, not background. We're going to check true or false. Okay. So if the check is true, if the check logic is true, we're going to go to the logic and check it if it is true. Then we're going to store the username and password. Now for storing the username and password, we have to give a database. Now coming for the database, we're going to come to the storage right over here. And we're going to use this TinyDB drag and drop. Now this is a non-visible component, so it will be shown right over here in the below. Okay, so we have used this TinyDB1, and now we're going to use this TinyDB1 right over here. Okay, so we're going to come to the TinyDB1, and now what we require actually, now we want to store value or get value, these two things that we're going to use. So we're going to store value, because now we're going to store value. So now tag, now what is a tag? It is something you can understand as a variable that you are creating for storing something in the database. So the first tag variable that for user I can keep like user, and the value to store is this value, username text. This is the value to store. Okay. Similarly, I will duplicate this and I will connect over here. The second value is the password. The second value is the password, and I will just delete this and I will duplicate this and I will collect this password. Whatever password we have, we'll store it in the second value. Now, status of the check, remember me, status of the remember. Now, again, I will duplicate this. I will just store the check underscore status, check status, and for this we're gonna delete this, and we can copy this once again. I don't know what I have done. Okay, we'll duplicate this and we'll keep it over here, and we're gonna pass that check. Status is check. What is there means check status. What it will do, that we are changing the previous status to the current status, that it is checked or not. So if it is checked, means we'll check it again, and that time when we store it again, we won't do like we want to check the current status. We're going to check the database status, that if the database was checked previously, if the status was checked previously while going back to switching off the app. Okay, so we have done this. Now if this is not checked, means this remember me is not checked, it's unchecked. So in the else part, we're going to connect this else part, and what we're going to do, we're going to make this status only this status, we're going to change it to unchecked or not checked, whatever you want. I will make it unchecked. You can make it not checked or any other thing, whatever you require. Okay, The same thing you need to check, that only you need to keep in mind. So this is all set. So these things are all set. Now what we need to do, when the user come back to the screen again, okay, when the user come back to the screen again, that means when screen 1 initializes, when screen 1 initializes, at that time you need to check. Now you need to be very careful over here. Now we need to check for so we will bring this if block right over here. If, now if what, if the previous status what we had equals to check, then only we're gonna have the username or password, or else we're gonna have nothing. Okay, so for getting this we now take this equals to. Now for getting the previous value, previous data stored, we're gonna come to the tinydb and we're gonna go to the get value. Now we'll come over here and this will be blank as this doesn't matters because we need to get the value. Now I will just duplicate this and put it over here and take the tag that I want the status of what? Check status. I want this. So I'll copy this, or else you can write it also and I will paste it. So I want the check status value over here and it should be equals to check. It should be equals to check. So I will just again copy this and paste this, and it should be check. I believe I have written this value only. Yeah, same spelling should be there. So if it is checked, then what we need to do, we need to set the text box. So coming to the text username, set username, set username text to what? To again I need to get the value of the username that is stored over here in the tag user and tag password. So again we're gonna go to the tinydb, get value, and this tag is, we'll duplicate this, and this will be user. Okay, this is the tag and we'll get the value. Similarly, we're gonna duplicate this entire part and this will be password. Okay, we're gonna go to the password, get this set password text, and we're gonna set it right over here, change it to the text, and delete this and keep it right over here. Now I will just shift it a little below. Now you can see we have set the password text. We are getting the value. Now it was a password tag, so we'll change the tag to password. Okay, so now we need to set the checkbox too, that it was remember me was there or not. So we need to set remember me check status and check it to true, because as we have done that previously it was checked, so now also we'll make it by default to check. But if previously it wasn't checked, so I will just put an else block over here, and if it is wasn't checked, then we will just copy this set checkbox over here and keep it to false. That's it. Okay, so I believe this has been disconnected, so I need to connect it once again. So you need to wait for a few more minutes to run the code. So till then, just wait for the things. So we over here we are getting the setup right. Now we'll unlock this. We require more 17 seconds to set up for all the applications are running on this device or not. So we'll wait for a few more minutes. Okay, so only 6 seconds to start our application. Okay, so we got it. Now if you write like user over here, password 123456, and we use remember me. Okay, we don't use remember me. Okay, we are logging in. So we are redirected to the previous part. Okay, now if you go to the home, then coming back to this again, uh, we are getting this thing only. Now if we are putting back and coming back again, then again it is re-establishing its procedures. It will take a little more time. Okay, I believe no, it shall set up automatically. Let's see. Okay, there was a connection error. I need to start it once again. Okay, we need to wait for a little more time. Developing applications on a virtual device will take a little more time for starting, building, and all sort of things. So getting these times will be there. Sometimes this happens when you need to build again and again. These are small applications, so it is taking a very less amount of build time. But when you put on huge applications, it will take a build time around half an hour or 1 hour or maybe more than 1 hour. So it's depend upon the application that what we have done over here. Okay, so we have this, and now when we put on this username and password with remember me, then what happens the next time also will get this remember me only. So over here in the virtual machine, it's very difficult to text that if we're getting this remember me or not. For example, we are stopping this application, stop and exit. And again, if we are running this application, we are just testing it that if it works on this application or not. So I believe it won't work on this application as this is a virtual machine it's using and a virtual thing. So, but when you build it, you will find it all the things. So you just do it practically or at your home, and you just build all the things and do it practically. You will get all the data. Okay, so this is how we need to do these all stuffs. So this is what we have made a login system. And if you want to make something like a to-do application, then also it is very easy for us to make. Now, so let us go proceed forward for the to-do application. So for to-do application, what we need to have, we need to first of all create create new, start a new app. After starting a new app, what we need to do, the main motto of a to-do application, if you don't know, let me tell you what is the main motto of to-do application is all about. See, to-do applications are basically used for getting at the tasks. Okay, it is basically used for getting the tasks and all other stuffs. So let us start an new project. Start new project, and we'll write the name as to do app. So this is okay. Now I'll set. and we are over here in a new project. Okay. So now you can also do one more thing, that what login system we had made, you can connect this to-do app with this login system. For example, the screen two that you have designed, you're going to design, you can design it the to-do application screen two. So whenever someone logins with the same username password, it will redirect to the to-do application. So this is on you, how you will design, connect this to-do application to that. Okay, it's all upon your task. So first of all, we'll design this to-do application. Now, for designing this to-do application, we will go for this list view, as I told in the previous lecture why this list view is used. A text box, a list view, and few buttons. Okay, so let us take a text box first. Okay, before taking a text box, we will take an horizontal layout, and we'll take a label. Now fix the horizontal layout with to fill parent, label with to fill parent, and then we're going to press on this as to do app. Okay, and we're going to make it to the center. We're going to change the size to 24. That's it. So this is the first thing that I have done. Now this is the hint we can write like on this text box. Rename this text box. To do text. This is the name of this backend, and hint maybe enter task. This is the hint. Okay, enter task, and anything else that we can make it over here. All things are all pop. We don't need it. Now, before going forward, we need a layout for table arrangement to align it everything. So we're gonna have a table arrangement right over here. This is the text box, and we're gonna have a button, and this button is for enter, add task maybe. So I'm just writing add task, and I'm just renaming this button to add underscore task button. Okay, so add task is there. Now we may delete task, so we can keep a button right over here. Okay, I need to remove this button. Okay, I removed the wrong button. I need to change it again. So let me do the procedure again. So I will just make it like add task, and I will rename this as add underscore task. Okay, so this is all set. Now similarly, I will increase this table arrangement column size to 3 because I require one more button over here, and I will add another button. I will add another button, and the button name will be uh, delete. Delete. Okay, I've added another button, and the button name is delete. So this is all set. And now if you want to add another button like here and all those functionalities, whatever you want to add, you can add as per your requirement. But we'll continue with this delete over here. So now if we move forward, like we have got this add task, delete task. Okay, now we want the list view. Now what this list view will do, it will continuously add on to the list. Now let me show you what this list view is all about. Like I'm writing Amar, Akbar, Anthony. Now when writing this, you can see it's coming in one by same line. But to make lists like first task, second task, third task, fourth task, what we need to do, we need to use commas. So if I'm writing Amar, comma, Anthony, comma, and pressing enter, it's giving you different types of. So comma is the separator which separates it to the different means acts as a different list value. So this is one list value, this is another list value, this is another list value. So this is how we're gonna use this entire things right over here. Okay. Now we're gonna have something else also, like we need to have a dummy label where we will means update the list value. So we'll have a dummy label over here. This is label will be invisible. We won't see to it, and we can name it as uh, dummy dummy label, and the text will be blank. We don't want a predefined text in this. Okay, so this is a dummy label where we will put the commas and all other stuff we will put over there, and we'll do this. So let us start now. Let us start. So we'll just make this list view as blank first of all. Once this is done, we'll go to the blocks and we'll start this. So when this add task is clicked, then only we will do proceed further. So let us go to the add task, and when this add task is clicked, at that time we will just check if. From the control, we'll just go to the if, and we'll just check if text, the text box that we have, that is to do text, if this consists of some data. Okay, so for checking it, we need a logic, and that is equals to if to do text, and this is a text. If text of the to do text equals to not equals to blank. If that is blank, then there will be no adding of task. If that is not blank, then we'll add a task. Okay. Now what task we're gonna add? Where we're gonna add the task? So we're gonna add it to the list view. So we're gonna add it. Set the label first of all. Okay. We're gonna set the label first of all. So now you can understand one thing, that if you're setting a label, for example, let me show you somewhere. Mm, let me open a new tab over here. Okay, let me write over here. Now this is a label. Okay, for example, you understand this is a label, and if I write something over here for the first time, then I need to write without a comma. Then for a separator, I need to use a comma. Are you getting this? For a separator, for the next time, I need to use a comma. But for the first time, I don't want a comma over here at the first. If there is a comma over here, then it will provide us a problem. So for that, counting that if it is a first time or second time, we need to have a global variable. Now there is how we can create a variables over here. Now there is a variables over here, and we need to initialize global variable name. And the name that we're going to initialize is for a counter, maybe C. And inside that, we're going to count numbers. So there is a math logic, and we're going to count 0. Excuse me. Okay. Now, if we're going to check after this to do text is not equals to blank, when something is data is there in the to do text, then we're going to check that this is the first data or more than second data or other than that. Okay. So for checking this, again, we need to come to the control block. We need to come over here if, and we're going to get the values. So for checking, we're going to come to the logic. We're going to take equals to, and in the variables, we're going to get the logic of C. Now we're going to get the value of C, and we're going to make it duplicate, and we're going to check if C value is equals to 0. If this value is equals to 0, then we can easily set all the values. So we'll just set the label now that we have created, dummy label. Now we'll set the dummy text, set dummy text, set to what? Set to do text. This value we're gonna set over here. So we're gonna set we're gonna come to do text. We're gonna bring this sorry, this is the wrong thing. We can duplicate this part, and we can bring it and drag it and put it over here. So what text we are just setting to the dummy label? That is the text over here. Okay, this is what we are doing right over here. Now, once we have done this, then we can set the list view. Okay, now we can also have to set the global value variable to one, that for the next time it doesn't come to zero again. So we can again copy and duplicate this and paste it over here and set this to 1. That's it. And now we'll set the list. We'll set the list view, set list view, elements from string. This we need to do because this is from the elements are coming from this label string. And now we'll get the text of the label. Now coming to the dummy, and getting the text over here like this. So what happens now? This set, we are setting this to 1 for the next time it doesn't gives you the value to 0. And now we are setting this dummy text over here. Now the value of the labels that we have set over here, it will directly go to the list view and update the list view value. So let us see if till here it works fine. Okay, so we'll just connect to the emulator, waiting for the emulator to start up. Let's wait for the emulator to start. Okay, we have got the emulator over here, and now it's running the applications, checking for the application. It will take more 14 seconds. So let us wait. It's a very thick to-do task. Is not a very simple task to make this application. You have to be very concentrative on things because this task is really important and very it's easiest also, but very tricky also. So you need to understand bit by bit of it. So here we got the add task, delete task, and enter a task. Okay. So now when we are entering a task like hello, we are adding a task, so we are getting this value. Okay, but if we are adding again different tasks, we are not getting any values. We are not getting the previous value updated. We are not getting this value. Even if we are selecting this and deleting the value, we are not getting this because we haven't created the logic for this. Okay, so now we will create the logic for the second task onwards. If global variable was c, global value of c is not equals to 0, then what we're gonna do? Okay, we will just put on this else part over here, and inside this else part we will set to do label once again, but this time we will set the to do label with a comma joined with the previous value of that label. Okay, so we'll just copy this. This is a little complicated to just understand. I will just remove this. Now we'll just set this to do label, dummy label actually. The dummy label will just set it over here, but we'll join it. So for joining, we'll come to the text and we'll search for join over here. Yeah, right over here we are getting. So we'll join previous text, then again we need to join because we again have two values, previous text, and then we're gonna have the comma. So for comma again text, and then we'll bring this and put a comma over here. So you can see that previous value, then a comma, and then the current value of the we're gonna have the current value over here. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna come to this to do text, or else we can copy this, duplicate this, and paste it over here. Okay, so when this is done, that means we are all set now. So let us now update this dummy label to the list view. So for the updating the list view, it's the same. Now we'll copy this and paste it over here. That's what to update the list view. Okay. So let us execute this code. Let us execute this code now, and we're adding this task. You can see the n number of times that we have added the task, all are being shown over here. Now if we are making this task to hello and adding this, all are changing to hello. Okay, there may be some mistake that we are doing. Okay. This won't be to do text over here, rather this will be the previous dummy text. So this we need to copy and paste it. The previous dummy text value we need to merge it with the current to do text value. Okay. So now again, if we go for hello, and then again if we move for GRE, for example, so you can see we are adding all the text one by one. Let me refresh this. Let me refresh this and put it from the beginning. Okay. Let me refresh this and put it from the beginning. And let us write like today's task is see video. This is videos. This is the first task. Complete homework. This is the second task. So similarly, you can go for n number of tasks and you can keep it. Okay. And now, after doing this, what we require? If all the tasks are done, means for example, this task is done, I need to select this task. Okay. I need to select this task. I'm selecting this. I need to delete this. So this is what it should be done. Like if I want to complete this task, I need to select this and I need to delete this. So for this option, what we need to do, we need to design once again. But deleting will not be that easy. Now, you can see one more thing, that if we are making this delete option, once all the things are deleted, then we are not making this value c equals to 0. If you're not making this value c equals to 0 again when there is nothing there in the list, then what happens? Then we will be getting a blank space in the first list and then the current values. I will just show you what I'm just trying to tell you. Then only we'll understand and then only we'll work on it. Before that, we'll go and look for the delete. Now for going for the delete, when now for going for the delete button, what we just want to delete a selected task. Okay. So for deleting the selected task, we can do one thing. Let us find out a logic right over here. Means if we are selecting this, when we are selecting this, then something will happen. Means when we are deleting this, then whatever we have selected, we need to delete it. That's it. Okay. So we'll come to this over here, and now we will work on the delete. So when the delete button is pressed, I believe this is the button. Let me rename the button, then only we'll work on this. So we'll rename the button to delete so that we don't get confused with the buttons. Now when the delete button is clicked, then we will get the value, selected value. So we're going to go to the list view and we're going to get the selected value. Okay. We're going to get the selected value and store it in a variable because we cannot get the selected value like this. So we'll initialize a global variable right over here, and you can write it like the variable name selected value. This is the variable name, and this will replace with the text because we require the text part over here. I will delete this and initialize with nothing. So we're gonna set the value, set selected value to this. Now this is done. When this is when delete is clicked, we're gonna set the selected value to this, and now we're gonna remove the list. Now you can understand to remove, because we have all the content stored in the view list view as well as in the label. Now label is a string format, and for deleting a particular string from a so long string is very difficult. So for that reason, what we can do, we can separate it in a list. Now what is a list? If you are from a Python background, then it will be very easy for you to understand what is a list. It is something like a array type of thing which can store both the values, either numerical or character. It is something like this. So we'll just separate it. So let me find out what actually we want to use to separate it. So before, but for separating it, we need to store it somewhere. Okay. So let us make a global list variable, initialize global, and let us name it as label list or dummy list, whatever you want. Let us make it as dummy list. Now once this is set, now we'll go to this list and create empty list. So we have created this dummy list as a list type variable. Okay, so this is done. Now we will set this, and so we'll split all the values in this label and we'll store it right in the dummy list. Okay, so what we will do, we'll just split it through comma. So how we gonna do this? We're gonna go to this set and bring it somewhere over here. Okay, we are bringing somewhere over here, and now what we're gonna set? We're gonna set the dummy list value, and we're gonna set with what? We're gonna split. So there is a property called split. So we're gonna split the text. Now the text value will come over here. Now the text is somewhere in the dummy text. So I'll copy this dummy text. I'll just duplicate this and bring it over here. It's getting a little complex. You need to understand very calmly and coolly with all the things. Like this is a dummy list. I'm just updating the dummy list value. What are the values? I will get the value by splitting the dummy text at comma. Means at every time it gets a comma, it will split the value and store it in the list as an element. Okay, so I'll split it as comma. So this is done. Similarly, we're gonna duplicate this and do the same over here. We're gonna do the same thing right over here. But there is a mistake. We don't want to separate dummy text and store it in the comma. Rather, we want to actually do the label. Dummy text. Yeah, right. We are at the right part. Okay. So label name is dummy. So we have done exactly the right thing. So now we'll move forward. Okay, I believe we have overwritten something. Yeah, now it's good. Okay, so here we have all set. Now we have a list. What the list values are, global dummy list. If you want to see how the list values work, then you can see it by printing that list in the instead of the label, making it visible. So it's upon your choice. For example, if you want to see what this list is, if delete is pressed, then you can say set the list view. Like I will just set the list view, labels, get, and inside that the dummy list. So I'm just setting all of these views to the dummy list value when delete is pressed. So let us see what happens. So I'm entering a task like hello. Now techcat. This let it be evolution also. I don't know why it is not going back. Yeah, right. We have got it. So there, all the three tasks over here. Now what we will do, we'll just press the delete button. So on delete button, what we have done, we have put a list view and we have written all the elements over here. So you can see we have getting three elements in a list, and the square brackets denotes that these are the three elements of the list. So we have separated the three elements successfully, and now we will utilize these three elements properly. Okay. So for utilizing the three elements, we need to delete, search the element. Okay. So for searching the element, what we need to do, we will just remove this because this was done only for checking purpose. So now we will go to the list and we'll search for remove list, item list. We'll search for remove list from index. Now what is index? Index is the position number and the list is the list. So the list is at the global list. So we'll get the value from the global dummy list, and from this list we need to find the index of that position. Now for finding the index, again we need to go to the list and we need to search for index in list. That will give us the index value. So we have got this index in list. Now what index we need to search? Now whatever may be the selected value, that index is the thing, and we need to search that selected value in the global list. So I will just get selected value, and I will just copy this and paste it, and it will from the dummy list. So this is what happens. So I'm just removing the list item from the dummy list. So after this, if you want to check it out that if we are getting this or not, then you can do one thing. We will just again copy this and paste this, and instead of this we can put on this dummy list. Now whatever the removed value, whatever we have selected, it must have been removed, and we will be printing and checking it if that exists or not. So we're going to come over here, we'll just refresh this so that we don't get any previous dummy values. Just refresh this. Okay, so we are set. Now first we are writing hello, then maybe 1 2 3 4 5, and maybe anything. Okay, so these are the things. Now I'm just selecting one. For example, I want to delete this. I'm pressing delete. Okay, there is an error. Attempt to remove item 0 of the list. The minimum valid item number is 1. Okay, let us is 1. Note, you will not see another error reported for 5 seconds. Okay, attempt to remove item 0 of the list. Did we make a mistake? Let us see once again. Okay. So guys, what the mistake we have done, we have selected, we haven't put the selection. Means we need to do list view one selection. That value we need to store in the global selected values, and that value we need to come over here and delete it. So this was a big mistake that we had done. Due to this, error was there. Now we'll again select this and delete it, and now you can see we haven't got any value. Again, if you select and delete this, but this will throw an error because multiple times selection and deletion process we haven't done yet. Okay, so this is what is the reason it is showing right now. So now we'll just remove this part because it was done for the checking purpose. And now what we're going to do, we're going to set the current label. We're going to set the current label with this, and now taking one by one element and we will come to the set dummy, set dummy element is text, and text to what? We're gonna set it to the join list. So we're gonna search join items. We're gonna search for this join items using separator. Okay, and the separator is comma, and the list is dummy list. This is our list, and we're gonna just put it over here. So now we'll again putting this dummy label again to that position. Yes, putting it in the commas, and now again what we will do, we will put the to do label, means sorry, the list view will just duplicate this and set it to the dummy text. Okay, we are setting the elements from string to the dummy text. Now the last thing that we could do, that we need to do, is to put this selection to false. Okay, put this selection to false. So we'll just put the selection to false. Okay, where we can put the selection to false, we need to put this to be one. Okay, we will just duplicate this, and we'll just keep this, and we will put this selection to logic is false. So it's let me keep bring it and put it to false. That's it. So this is done. So I believe all this is done, and we are ready to repeat this code again and again. So let's see if this works fine. We will just refresh this companion. Okay, now we can add the task. Let it be hello, and I'm adding this. Let it be 123, 123, 123. Let me add this. Let it be WHO. Add this, and I'm done with this. Now I'm selecting hey 123, and I'm deleting this task. It's going fine. I'm selecting hello, selecting this task. Now I'm just entering this task once again. I'm just adding a task. So you can see we are getting a blank space. So this is why we are getting this blank space. The reason is that we haven't set again the global value variable c counter value to 0. So over here, what we need to do, we need to set this value back over here. If to do text is not equals to blank, then inside this, what we are checking, that over here, if this is empty, if this goes empty, we're gonna check. So we will just put on the control statement right inside this block. Why in the else part? Because over here only we are counting that if this is empty or not. Okay, so we will just put inside this, and we'll check is list empty. We're gonna check is list empty. Okay, here is list empty, and if this is we will pass on the list, and this is dummy list. If this is empty, then we're gonna set global c value to 0. Set global c value. We'll just duplicate this and put it over here. That's it. So when we did this, what happens when it comes and enters that it is C1 is going on, and when it checks that okay, the list is empty, the current list is totally empty. Now we need to put the global C value equals to 0. So now if we refresh it, okay, let us delete this. Let us delete this. And now if we add a task, okay, it's giving you the same thing. Let us refresh this once again. Let us write help something, and let us delete this. delete this, and again let us add this. Okay, I believe we have put it in the wrong position. Uh, it shall be over here. So let us see if to do task text is not equals to 0, then we're gonna use this if block. Okay, not equals to blank. If something is again there, we're gonna check if the list is empty or not. Okay, let us repeat this process once again. So okay, so we found the mistake right over here. The if block that we are going for backward, because when we're putting the add task, we should check that if the list is empty or not. So we are checking the now the list is empty or not. So we have done this. Now we'll remove one by one and we'll remove all. Then again, when we add task, then it comes to without blank space. So this is what I was trying to explain to you. When you want to, if you're not checking this and making this C again back to 0, then it will just provide you with some n number of blank spaces in this at the starting of the list. So here we have completely designed a to-do application for you, and you can use this application for your task management and all things. The task is yours is very difficult that you need to bind this with a database. And we will come with this option also later on, but before that, just practice on your own. Okay, so for today, we'll end the session. Subscribe our channel